Hello guys, it's Nurse ID here. So I've been having lots of questions from ladies who ask me, Nurse ID, how do I know when I am in my safe period? How do I know how to calculate my fertile period? How do I even know when I'm ovulating and all of that? So if you're child spacing, you're not ready to have a child over a period of time, you might want to watch this video. If you're ready to conceive, you might also want to watch this video to know the time that you are likely to get pregnant. If you're a man and you're seeing this video, you are not in the wrong place, because if you have an idea of what your wife does not know, you are in the position to enlighten her. If you have an idea as an unmarried man of what your fiance, your girlfriend, or your sister doesn't know, you are in a position to educate them.
I haven't slept with any woman before. I am purely virgin.
All right, so quickly, what is safe period? This is a time in every month with which when a lady has unprotected sexual intercourse, the likelihood of she getting pregnant is very, very slim. Now, fertile period, on the other hand, is a time when you have sexual intercourse unprotected. The chances of you getting pregnant is very, very high. Now, in every month, we've got series of things that occur. Number one is menstrual flow. Secondly, we've got safe period. Thirdly, fertile period. And lastly, ovulation. These four things happen in every cycle. Now, people have got different cycle lengths. Some have got 28-day cycle, some 30, and even up to 32. Now, for the duration of flow of menses, some people flow for 4 days, some 5, some 6, and some even up to 7 days. But the good news is this: irrespective of your length of cycle, whether it's 28, 29, 30, 32, or the duration of flow, whether it is 4, 5, 6, or 7, the principle of knowing whether you are safe or you're fertile or you're ovulating remains the same. The only difference is that these events will occur on different dates. Say, for example, somebody with a 30-day cycle, definitely you will not ovulate on the 14th day like someone on 28 days cycle, right? So, from the very first day you see blood flow from your vagina, count it as day one. You might easily circle it on a calendar, or you want to write it down somewhere. That is day one of your flow. So observe the flow. If it stops on the 4th day or it stops on the 7th day, highlight it on the calendar or write it down in your book to say menses stopped on that date. Now, what happens after the menses stops is what we are really interested about. Right? From the next day after your menses stops, you are in a period called dry. Now, it is dry because previously, before your menses occurred, there was no fertilization of egg. You were not pregnant, so blood came out from your vagina the next month. Now, after menses, your womb is trying to heal up. It's trying to regain itself. So that period, there is not even a secretion of mucus. If you go to the bathroom after peeing and clean up, you will not see any mucus discharge. So that period is called your safe time. You can have unprotected sexual intercourse without the fear of getting pregnant. This period only lasts for 4 days immediately after your menses. So say your menses stops today, from tomorrow you're going to count 4 days, you are safe. The only thing is, after sexual intercourse, you have to stand up immediately, go to the bathroom and just wash yourself. You don't have to take any emergency contraceptive. Now, after these 4 days of being safe, what happens? It is followed with another phase, which is called the fertile window. Now, this is a time where the likelihood of you getting pregnant is very, very high. At this time, when you go to the bathroom and clean yourself up after peeing, you're going to see some mucoid discharge. Like, it will look like the consistency of a pap. Sometimes you can physically see it on the wipe that you use to clean up. You will see it thick and looks like a pap. Now, you know you've entered your fertile phase. This period lasts for 5 days. So after your safe period ends, from the next day, you are no longer safe to have unprotected sexual intercourse if you're not ready to have a baby. It lasts up to 5 days. Now, after the 5 days expires, the next day following it is your ovulation. Now, on this date of ovulation, this is a period of heightened mucoid secretion. That is a time that when you go to the bathroom and you clean yourself up, you're going to see a secretion that is very slimy. It is very thin and transparent. Looks like that transparent part of a raw egg. Okay, now some symptoms might even follow. Some people have elevated body temperature on that date. Some people have got cramps on that date as well. So that date, you might even have breast tenderness. You might feel sick. So for somebody who had already had unprotected sexual intercourse, they might start being afraid, thinking that they are pregnant. That is the point where some people go to buy a test strip from a chemist or pharmacy to check themselves, thinking that they are pregnant. Okay, now after this ovulation, what happens? You're going to count another 5 days following your ovulation. You are still not safe to have unprotected sexual intercourse. Okay, so I developed a principle for this, a numerical formula that is going to help you remember how to know when you're safe, fertile, and ovulating. And it is 4-5-5. All right, 4-5-5. Sometimes you might want to use it to put as a pin lock or a pin unlock for your device or whatever. However, you can remember this number 4-5-5. You can decide to save it anywhere. So the first 4 days stands for your safe period. The second 5 days stands for your fertile period that leads to your ovulation, and the last 5 is the period after your ovulation that you are not safe. So I don't want to include the flow days because you've got different flow length. Okay, so whether you flow for 4 or up to 7 days, it's up to you. After your menstruation, bring this principle of 4-5-5, place it before you and begin to count. Okay, what is my safe period? This is my menses that has ended today. From tomorrow, I'm going to count this 4. After the 4 days is off, you rule that out. You are left with only 5 and 5. Right? The first 5 days signifies my fertile window that I have to be very careful if I'm not ready, or I have to, get myself prepared if I'm ready to have a child. That first 5 days leads up to what we call your ovulation. After the 5 days, the day following after your 5 days is when your ovulation will occur. That's when sometimes you will have increased body temperature, you will have cramps, you might have mild tenderness on your breast. So after that ovulation, 5 days again that I'm going to count is going to mean that I am not still safe to have unprotected sexual intercourse. All right. I believe this is simple enough for us to understand. So when you have 4-5-5, you just count 4 safe days. What follows that is 5 fertile days. What follows that is 5 fertile days again. All right. So guys, if you have 28-day cycle, you would ovulate on the 14th day. These 14 days, you are counting it from the very first day of your menses. So if, say, today I start flowing, I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. If my menses ends on the 4th day. Now, the additional 4 that is going to be my safe period, I will add it to that 4 that I flow. That's 8. So this other 5 that leads to my fertile period, all right, 5 plus 8 is 13, isn't it? Right. After that 13th day, the next day following it is 14. That is how you have your 14 days, or making you know that, okay, 14 days is on the 14th day that I ovulate. That is how the word 14 comes about. So irrespective of your flow days, when it ends, just start counting. Your ovulation is counted from the very first day you flow. 1, 2, 3 till the 14th day, that is when you ovulate. Count 5 days after your ovulation, you are not safe to have unprotected sex. So now what happens after these 5 days of my ovulation? You are safe until the next month when you see another period happen. Do you understand? So after my menses, I'm going to count 4 days. I am safe to have unprotected sex as long as after the sex I can go to the bathroom and wash up. I do not need to take contraceptive. After these 4 days, I have now entered my fertile window, and this is going to last for 5 days, leading to my ovulation. After my ovulation, I'm going to count 5 additional days. I am still not safe. Guys, after you've removed this principle of 4, 5, and 5 from your cycle, you don't need to bother yourself. You are safe until your next period comes. This is something that I have tried for several times and it has worked for me, and that's why I'm bold enough to bring it to you today. Guys, you don't need to take emergency contraceptive every minute that you have unprotected sex with your spouse, because you are trying to, what you do when you do this is that you're putting your hormonal balance at risk. You're destabilizing the balance of hormone in your system. So if you are able to get hold of this, know how to calculate your safe period, your fertile period, know when you're ovulating. This will help you for those who are child spacing, for those who want to get pregnant. When you have entered that fertile period, it's not a time that you start quarreling up and down with your spouse, or maybe you travel and be apart from your spouse. You might be trying for several years without getting pregnant and you don't know what the cause is. It's a time for you to sit down, try to see if you can calculate this for some months. Try to experiment on this. When you enter your fertile period, try to engage in sexual intercourse with your partner. And after having sex, you do not want to go to the bathroom if you want to have a child that period. Just relax, lie down in bed, allow everything, all the sperm to seep into you. Now, we've got millions of sperm that are released at a time during ejaculation. It is only one that goes to fertilize the egg. So why not lie down there and give all the sperm the chances of running the race? Whichever one meets the egg, and is lucky to fertilize it, that's okay. But when you stand up immediately to wash up and you want to have a child, you are reducing, the number of sperm that goes in. So you might not know if the ones that have already entered are very weak and might not be able to get to the egg to be fertilized. And some of them might die on the way. So lie down there, don't be in a hurry. Give them the chance of running the race to get fertilized. Guys, I believe this is a simpler method for you to know. After now, you should be able to be in charge of your menstrual cycle. Know how to calculate it as a woman. You must know how to calculate when you're safe and when you're not safe for unprotected sexual intercourse. Okay, guys, I'm going to see you in our next video. Don't forget to go to our Facebook page. It is Ask Nurse ID. Click on the share button. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, share this to your loved ones, share this to your friends. This might be just that information somebody needs to be able to put their family in order. All right, guys, I'll see you in my next video. For now, bye.